Okay, so I have a confession to make. Now, I was born and raised in Minnesota, and in my 36 years of living here, I'm just now realizing that, well, Minnesota's actually lit. Stay tuned to find out why. What's going on, guys? Brandon Archie here, aka your favorite Minnesota realtor, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a few reasons on why I think Minnesota is severely underrated. And I'm also going to be sprinkling in some random facts throughout the video to help support my case. So make sure you stay till the end. But first, as always, before we get started, if you are thinking about moving to Minnesota, whether it be now or next year, then shoot me an email at brandon@archiehomesgroup.com so that we can schedule a meeting to go over what it is you're looking for and put together a plan to make your move as smooth as possible. Now, you may have noticed if you've been watching my videos religiously that my email has changed, but if you accidentally still email me at brandonarchie@kw.com, that's okay because I will still get it, but just know that we are trying to slowly phase that one out. But for now, let's get started. Okay, so the reason why I say Minnesota is underrated is because of the saying, you don't realize what you have until it's gone. And that is the perfect saying for a lifelong Minnesotan like me, because it really wasn't until I started this YouTube channel 2 years ago that I really started to understand just how many great things we have here. You see, when most people think about Minnesota, they think of the cold winters and that it's boring. And as a young adult with no kids or responsibilities, that could definitely be true in a sense. But once you get a little bit older, you start thinking about raising a family, you don't go out as much to party like you used to, and you really want to go somewhere where you can just live a simple life and enjoy. Now, I've been to a lot of different places all over the United States, and every single one of them has their issues for me. For instance, Florida's way too damn hot, and in the summer it's not uncommon to find a snake in your garage. California is way too expensive and traffic is ridiculous. Seattle is way too gloomy and it rains all the time. States on the coast have to worry about hurricanes every year. Well, in Minnesota, we don't have to worry about any of those things. We have all 4 seasons, which gives you a little break from the extreme heat and the extreme cold, and quite honestly, the cold winters actually help us maintain the quality of life that we enjoy here, because if you think about it, that's usually the biggest reason that keeps people from moving here. Now, if we didn't have those cold winters, we'd probably have people flocking here from all over the country, which would then make us one of the most highly populated metro areas in the US. And I personally appreciate the fact that we aren't. I can almost get anywhere in the Twin Cities in less than 30 minutes, and there's definitely something to be said about that when compared to cities like Los Angeles, New York, or even Chicago. Now, when you think of the best states to live in, Minnesota probably wouldn't pop up on your top 10 list, but that's all the more reason why we're such a sleeper state. Now, you see, CNBC ranked the best states for quality of life in 2024, and guess where Minnesota ranked? Number 4. That's right. And a lot of things can attribute to that, such as our countrywide leading low unemployment rates or our top-of-the-line healthcare system with the Mayo Clinic. Now, just to give you some more rankings, Minnesota ranks number 2 in best states for economic opportunity, number 3 for Fortune 500 companies per capita, number 4 for infrastructure, and number 5 for best overall states in America. Not to mention this random fact, but if you like to travel a lot, then you'll also enjoy the fact that Minnesota is literally right in the middle of the United States, and that means that you can pretty much fly anywhere in the United States in under 4 hours. Which actually reminds me of another stat, and that is in 2024, Forbes ranked MSP as the #1 ranked airport in the USA, according to traveler satisfaction. There are so many other things that Minnesota has to offer though, especially if being outside is important to you, like 6 national parks, 75 state and recreational parks, 4,000 plus miles of paved trails, 500 golf courses, and more. And we all know that Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, and that's a true statement. But it's one thing that I did not appreciate until I actually went to Denver for a vacation. Now, the funny part about this is that I hadn't even noticed that I hadn't seen a single body of water until I finally saw a small lake 3 days into my vacation, whereas Minnesota has a body of water no more than 5 minutes away from any location. Now, it's crazy how we can take even something so small like that for granted when you're not used to not seeing water all around you. So if fishing, water sports, laying on the beach, or just taking a midday stroll around the lake is important to you, then Minnesota can't be beat. Now, probably the biggest thing that Minnesota is underrated for is our food scene. Now, I would say that we're mainly known for things that don't really matter, like tater tot hot dish, wild rice, and the Juicy Lucy. But that definitely isn't all Minnesota's good at. Now, Minnesota has so many great restaurants here and so many different varieties of food that you can get. Now, many restaurants here have won national awards, have gotten featured on TV shows on the Food Network, and are just downright good. I think that one of the best things about our food scene is actually the fact that we aren't known for anything in particular. Now, I feel like this allows us to branch out and experiment with all different kinds of foods and not be put into a box. Just a few of my favorite restaurants in the Twin Cities that I've been to recently are Parlor, Red Rabbit, Guacana Bistro, and Smack Shack, just to name a few. Now, if you want a full list of my recommended restaurants, then leave a comment below, and if I get enough people interested, then I'll actually make a full video on my favorites. And since I've been sprinkling in a bunch of random facts about Minnesota throughout this video, here's another food-related one. The Milky Way candy bar was actually invented right here in Minneapolis. Now here's one for the ladies. Another random fact about Minnesota is that the new season of Love is Blind is being shot right here in Minneapolis as well. Although that one will only matter to a few people. And not to say that men don't need love too. Now, another reason why Minnesota is underrated is because we're the 16th largest city in the United States and have all of the benefits from it, but without the large crowds. Now, this may just be me being born and raised here, but Minneapolis really doesn't feel that big. Now, therefore, you really never really feel like people are in your space. You don't get the hustle and bustle of larger cities, and everything is overall more calm and relaxed. Now, if you want to get some of that city life, but without some of the headaches that other larger cities have, then Minneapolis can't be beat in that category as well. Now, another category we excel in is that people may not know about is our music scene. Now, it's a well-known fact that everybody knows that Prince was born and raised here in Minnesota, but did you also know that Bob Dylan and even Lizzo were born here too? Not only that, I'll throw you one more curveball. Did you know that Janet Jackson recorded 5 of her albums right here in Minneapolis? Including the song Scream, which she was featured on with Michael Jackson. Now, the funny story about that is that Michael Jackson originally recorded his verse for Scream in New York, until he heard Janet's verse, which she recorded right here in Minneapolis. He thought it sounded so good that he decided to fly all the way to Minneapolis and re-record his verse. And since we're on the topic of celebrities, you should take some time to just look up how many notable celebrities Minnesota actually has, because there's too many to name off in this video. Now, Minnesota is also a trendsetter in the sense that if you have been to any kind of indoor mall anywhere in the United States, then you can thank us for that as well, seeing how the first ever indoor climate-controlled shopping mall was created right here. And no, it wasn't the Mall of America, it was actually Southdale Mall in Edina. And to bring all of this home, let me take the time to list off just a few of Minnesota's other notable inventions. Grocery bags with handles, the Better Business Bureau, the pop-up toaster, water skis, masking tape, electronic autopilot, Tonka trucks, snowblower, open heart surgery, the deep sea submarine, the retractable seatbelt, the Nerf ball, rollerblades, microwave popcorn. I think you get the point.